Well, good morning, Oasis. It is a Monday morning, and yesterday at church I was supposed to make was probably the greatest and the most important announcement since we started Oasis 5 years ago. But then, of course, you know, the snow apocalypse 2014 and that whole thing kind of made that impossible. And so rather than waiting another week, I wanted to just shoot this video and tell you a little bit about what's going on. And for the last 7 or 8 months or so, as you know, we've been really actively pursuing what the next step is for us as a congregation and as far as location goes. I think we all understand that it's been 5 years of setting up and tearing down, and there's a level of fatigue among the setup and tear down crew that's emerged over that period of time, as you can understand. And so that's really kind of awakened in us this desire. What is the next step? You know, where does God want us to go next? And so that's then led to the pursuit of a number of different possibilities in West Salem, including we walked through the Easter Seals building last spring that came up for sale. But the worship space in there is just not large enough for the size church that we have. We also, those of you that are members know, a couple of weeks ago at a meeting, I talked about leasing a warehouse space. And so we were kind of pursuing that direction. We were going to look forward to raising, quite a bit of money in this coming year in order to renovate a warehouse. What you get with the warehouse is cheap square footage, but just the bare structure, and that probably would have been about $150,000. In fact, just $50,000 just to heat the warehouse. Well, as we were beginning to walk down that road, next thing you know, we find out from the realtor that space has been leased. And so, long story, medium length, that then led to what the leadership team feels like is the best solution of all. And that is that the Lord just opened the door for us to come down to the Grand Theater in downtown Salem. And Michelle, if you'll just kind of pan out, where we are right now is actually going to be the office space in which I'm going to get to have an office for the very first time. There you go. And we were going to shoot this little video down in the theater itself, but I've got a 2 and a 5-year-old running around there and teenagers watching them, so we just decided to do it in here. So anyways, over this last number of months, as we just kind of begin to pursue this, where are we going to move? It's just become abundantly clear in the last really just week and a half or so that the Lord was opening this door for us to go in. And this is an opportunity for us where we'll get to say goodbye to the trailer once and for all. We won't live in and out of this. We're actually looking to lease 4 rooms that we'll have all week long. The auditorium is something that we'll have on Sunday mornings. And so there will be very minimal setup and tear down that will happen in there. But kind of what's happened over this last week has been that Rex has been kind of spearheading this the building team. And when he first kind of pitched the idea to me, there was some initial reluctance there because I just hadn't thought about moving outside of West Salem. That wasn't part of the original plan. And so it just kind of came down here with several other couples to just kind of scope it out and just kind of see what we thought. And I was just kind of surprised, as were the others, just how much the thought of this and looking around the facilities which have been recently renovated just brought an excitement and an energy to us. And so it was worthy of pursuing. And so about a week ago, we invited all the leadership team and all the ministry team leaders to come down and walk through the facility. Tell us what you think. And then some of us went over to the Ike Box to talk a little bit more about this. And across the board, just the sentiment has just been one of very, very positive move for us in the next step of the life of Oasis. And so just last week, I sat down with the district superintendent and talked to him about what we were considering. and that also was very positive. I had a chance to talk with several other Nazarene pastors locally to just kind of give them a courtesy call and let them know what we were thinking, and it's just been really an exciting time in this last week. And so I think it was Wednesday night that the leadership team sat down in a room and talked about this and decided, came to the decision that this is just where the Lord is leading us. It's an option where we won't have to raise $150,000 or so in order to renovate a space that still won't belong to us. But yet at the same time, it will alleviate the pressure off of the setting up and tearing down. We just kind of feel like for the last 5 years, the Lord has been working, and in spite of really kind of like living out of a tent, where we set up and tear down, as we all know, camping can be hard. But now we're moving into just an apartment that we really are, love, and the space that we're excited about. It's not the dream home. There's some things that we love about the space, and there's some things that we aren't, as happy about, that we can kind of minimize that. But really, we're looking forward to making this move, and we're excited about what God has in store for us here as we look around, and our fishing hole. We've been called to be fishers of men. Our fishing hole just got a whole lot larger, and we're excited about this. And so actually a move-in date is going to be March the 2nd, and we're looking forward to that. And just a couple of questions that I thought you might be asking or running through in your mind. Michelle, please quit making faces. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. I know this is a little, your arms are getting tired. Okay. She is the cameraman here. A couple quick questions you might be thinking. Number one, why are we leaving West Salem? And so hopefully I've already answered that question, that our heart was to really stay in West Salem, but there just are not any inexpensive options unless we want to purchase land and build something at this particular time. And but even more importantly, we've just sensed the Lord's leading in this, and we've walked through the doors that we've sensed He was leading us to kind of walk through. Also, did you know that probably over 50% of our congregation lives outside of West Salem anyway? And so that's something you might not have been aware of. Second question that some people have been asking, is this a permanent move for us? And the answer to that is no. That the lease option that we've kind of drawn up, and that even now a lawyer is kind of reviewing for our own protection, for the protection of the district, that the lease is a 2-year lease with a 2-year option. And so our desire is to be here to build up the ministry, build up the resources, financial resources. But this is just an exciting next step for us as we just continue this journey and this adventure that God has called us to. Most church plants, as you may or may not know, move multiple times. In fact, I heard that Morningstar moved like 8 times before they landed in their kind of dream home. And so hopefully we won't move 8 times, but this is kind of our next step and our next move. Another question you might have, is parking going to be a problem? And other churches have met in this facility, and on a Sunday morning, parking has never been a problem. The courthouse is right across the street. And in fact, I suspect that you will walk a much shorter distance to come to the Grand than you do to walk from the parking lot into the Commons at West Salem High School. What about, is this a financially wise decision? And the exciting thing here is that we don't need to raise $150,000 or $200,000 to purchase or renovate, something. It's turnkey ready. But also what we get, for a monthly lease payment for just a slightly larger payment than we're paying for the high school. Like I said, we get 4 rooms that we have access to, including my own, office, an auditorium that's been recently renovated. And so we're just, excited about this location that we have here. And then, another question, the last question I think some people might ask is we're moving into an auditorium. Didn't we not like the auditorium when we went into the auditorium at the high school? And if you've ever been in this auditorium before, you know that it is a very, very different kind of space. with large, wide aisles, going down the middle, and it's much, much smaller as opposed to that massive, auditorium in the high school, which seats like over 1,000 people and that kind of thing. And so this is really just a great space that kind of fits us, enables us to grow, does not put too much financial pressure on us, and really positions us for the next step in the ministry and adventure that we have in Oasis. I think more than anything else, though, that at the end of the day, it's about the mission that God has called us to, and our own desire to share the gospel and to see that go forward. And we've just prayed about this. We've thought about this, extensively. The leadership team has talked, quite a bit about this. And what's been amazing to me is that for such a large step and such a large change, there is just this incredible sense of peace and certainty that this is where the Lord is leading us. And it's going to help us to share the gospel with more people and to see our mission go forward, that we are resolved to see the kingdom of God established behind every front door. And so that's kind of an announcement. Like I said, I wish I had more time, but we're going to talk more about this next couple of Sundays as we get ready for the move. And so we've got 2 more Sundays in West Salem High School, assuming everything goes through with the lawyers and the lease and all that kind of a thing, as it looks like it will. And so just a couple more weeks in the high school, setting up and tearing down, and then it's on for the next adventure just before the Easter season. So God bless you. Looking forward to Sunday. And if you haven't signed up for the community groups, they're starting this week. Love you guys.